So I kind of had a question here, and this gets into the Unreal request for 12 dragon eggs, two of each type,
Mhm.
is what determines a dragon's color? Because we have all this information about ancestral hashing grounds, but then Terrence says at some point, technically, and this is about Andarna, technically she was gold when you bonded her. Not even she knew what color her scales would mature to. Only the eldest of our dens can sense the hatchling's pigment. In fact, this is when he says, in fact, two more black dragons have hatched in the last year, according to Kodak. And we know dragons of different colors can mate. So, like,
Mhm.
what is actually determining a dragon's color there? Like, I feel like that's a question I have, and you have that look on your face, like you have the answer.
I don't have
So,
the answer. I just think
oh,
it's really notable that it's definitely not genetic purely,
right,
right?
right,
Like it's not a guarantee that any dragon is going to be any one color if only the elders can sense it. So
right.
like
So,
Perrin and Sigale could have like we don't know what would happen, right? But they could
right,
have a hatchling. Could it be black or blue? Are those the options, or is it anything?
right. Is it anything? And how does that work with the ancestral hatching grounds, right? Because they're by color, right? Like, so, like,
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point. I think I have in my head assumed that the unification resulted in a melting pot of dragons, and prior to that, the dens more or less lived
yeah,
as dens. And
yeah,
so, like, there were not really many questions as to what the color of any given dragon would be because two greens were mating and
right.
they had a green,
Which leads me to believe that Terran and Sigale are either going to have a black or a blue.
a black or a blue. Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah,
which one it is, I don't know.
don't know.
Well, right. Okay, but no, hold on. Two black dragons just hatched. We
Yeah,
only have two black dragons and
and they're
they're both
male.
male.
Yeah, yeah.
What's
So it,
going on
I think it
here?
actually could be not random's not the right word, but chosen in a different way.
I'm
Like
just so
Andarna
confused. Yeah. Yeah.
didn't, I mean, Andarna actually is kind of a poor case to look at because she didn't have parents, right? Like
Oh,
she didn't
assume
know.
she has some parents, but yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
but she
Yeah.
didn't have parents in the Vale. And so it was super unclear and like she's not a great indicator. But yeah, two black hatchlings. I also think though, do we
Are those
know
Kodaks?
there's
No,
also
because they hatch in Arisha.
yeah. So it might be determined by hatching grounds. I don't know. Two black dragons hatched in Orisha. Their
Great
hatching grounds
point.
are in Orisha.
Oh my god. Wow. That's a great point. That the color is determined by where you hatch if you're not at the Vale. But I don't know because the Vale was the green ancestral hatching grounds, right? So then every dragon would be
Yeah.
green who was born there.
Yeah. I don't know. Unclear.
All right. Well, that's fun
We
to
don't know how a
ponder
dragon gets its scales.